What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool news video, and today's big topic is: should Jurgen Klopp be sacked as Liverpool manager if Liverpool finish outside of the top 4 this season? On this season alone, any manager after challenging for the Premier League title and challenging for the Champions League would get sacked with a massive 30-point drop off from last season. Liverpool got 92 points last season and we are on course to finish on 58 points. That's more than a 30-point deficit, actually 34 points, which is a monumental, catastrophic drop-off and collapse from last season. And let me know guys, what do you think about Jurgen Klopp's future? I think he has a lot of credit in the bank. He's an absolute legendary Liverpool manager and he's the best man for the job right now to rebuild this Liverpool side, but only if he gets proper backing from the Liverpool owners. That is minimum 200 million net spend this summer, 250 million in overall spending minimum required for Jurgen Klopp to effectively and efficiently rebuild this Liverpool team. And the owners, according to a Mirror article, the owners are said to be sympathetic towards Jurgen Klopp for the problems he's dealing with. It's a multitude of problems. There are multiple reasons for Liverpool's drop-off. Jurgen Klopp himself has made mistakes and we will take a deeper look at that in this video. But also Liverpool, after having a grueling, intense, insane 63 game season where we were 2 results away from immortality from the quadruple, which would have been unprecedented in English football, and a drop-off has been expected, but the magnitude of the downturn in form has led, of course, to some concern and criticism being aimed at Jurgen Klopp. And Jurgen Klopp shouldn't be immune to criticism because he made mistakes this season and he's also maybe too inflexible with his tactics. I would have liked Liverpool to switch up tactics even more and to adapt the tactics to the current playing style of Liverpool, which is we can't play heavy metal, high pressing football anymore because we just don't have the players for it right now. Jurgen Klopp doesn't have the tools for it, so he should adapt and change tactics. But also there is no excuse, even with the current Liverpool squad, to be in and around teams like Brentford and Fulham. No disrespect to those teams, but Brentford are operating on an absolute shoestring budget and Fulham are a newly promoted side, and Liverpool are on par with those sides. And also Newcastle, who didn't spend as much money as Liverpool in the past 5 years. Yes, they spent more money in the last 1.5 years, but Newcastle are 10 points ahead of Liverpool. And Man United, who were so far behind Liverpool last season, now they are 10 points ahead of Liverpool. And Arsenal is the biggest case study. Now they are 30 points ahead of Liverpool. Yes, they spent more money, Arsenal, and they were very smart with their recruitment, but Liverpool still shouldn't be 30 points behind Arsenal. Maybe 10, 15, 20 points maximum, I would be okay with that, but 30 points, that's just too much. And according to journalists, even though Jurgen Klopp is under pressure to deliver at least minimum European football this season, and even 7th place qualifies for Europe, and some might say you don't want to play European Conference League football, but the thing is, Jurgen Klopp has never won the Europa League or the Conference League, and it could be a good competition for Liverpool to take part in, and it would be better to play European football than no European football at all. And Jurgen Klopp already played the Europa League final with Liverpool, which he lost, so I would like Jurgen Klopp to try and win the Europa League again. But it depends on how much money Jurgen Klopp will be given, because if we can build a big squad that could handle European competition next season, but if we only sign a few players, 2 or 3 players, then I don't want Liverpool to qualify for Europe at all, because then we won't have the squad to cope with playing 3 games every week. And the Liverpool hierarchy, the owners, still think that Jurgen Klopp is the best man for the job, and Jurgen Klopp will hope he can start a turnaround with, the trip of Arsenal coming to Anfield, and we need a good result against Arsenal and moreover a good performance. But inconsistencies can't be ignored. Liverpool have been massively inconsistent, and it frustrates the hell out of Jurgen Klopp himself and the Liverpool fan base as well. I mean, Liverpool had a 4-match winning streak in November at the beginning of December, but then we lost to Brentford 3-1, where Brentford scored 5 goals, 2 of them were disallowed. Then we lost to Brighton 3-0, Wolves 3-0. So there has been so many false dawns at Liverpool. The Liverpool fans are absolutely sick and tired of it. And it looked like Liverpool are getting back in form, because we made a 5-match unbeaten run. We kept 5 clean sheets in 6 games, and then we go to Bournemouth, bottom of the league, and lose. And also we got slapped by Real Madrid. Really awful result, and a pretty bad second half performance. And Liverpool have been so many times absolutely awful in the second half. It's really, really unacceptable. And what is very worrying, that from last season, Liverpool's expected goals against went from on average 0.8 to 1. That was the baseline for last season, and this season it has crept up to almost 2 expected goals against, which is really, really worrying and shocking. And Liverpool's goal scoring has regressed as well. Last season we averaged 2.6, 2.8 expected goals for Liverpool, and this season it's down to around 2.2 expected goals, which is another massive drop-off. And the level of inconsistency that Liverpool have showed this season is what you expect when you just get a new manager and he's trying to instill a new philosophy, new ideas into the players, and the performances are very inconsistent. Or when you see a very, very young team where there are loads of youngsters and the performances fluctuate. But that's not the case at Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp has been at Liverpool for now 8 years, 7.5 years to be precise. So you don't expect these kind of inconsistencies. Also, we have a lot of senior players, a lot of older players, but it looks like they just collapsed physically and mentally after the past 5 years of grueling schedule. And you could argue also Jurgen Klopp switching up the tactics almost every 2 or 3 weeks. He has done that. He has tried different formations, different tactics, but because no tactic is working right now, because there's so many of the Liverpool players are underperforming by a massive level to their usual standards, this has a negative impact on players as well. For example, Darwin Núñez looked more dangerous earlier on in the season than he does now. He's still having an impact, but the more time he spends with the group, the less impactful he has become in games as a result of his positioning and deployment within the team. Darwin Núñez should play down the middle. He should play down the middle, and Luis Diaz, hopefully when he comes back fit, he should play left winger, because we didn't sign Darwin Núñez to be a left winger. We signed him to be a classic number 9, and I think that's where he's the most effective, when he can get a lot of chances. I think the biggest problem, apart from, of course, switching lineups all the time, is that defensively and in midfield, Liverpool have totally collapsed. Never before in a Jurgen Klopp season has Liverpool conceded so many big chances as in this season. Every team, no matter what kind of team Liverpool play, they are having such an easy ride, creating chance after chance after chance at Liverpool, against Liverpool, and that's unacceptable. And that is coming from, without the midfield protection, the defense is really vulnerable, and also the whole of midfield is an absolute shambles. We already know all the multitude of problems. Half of the Liverpool midfielders are not good enough anymore and they are leaving. The other half, Henderson, Fabinho, their standards have dropped off massively. Harvey Elliott is, still young and his performances fluctuate. But also the defense, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Virgil van Dijk, Robertson, having a shocking season. All 3 of them have massively dropped off from last season. Also, because the midfield doesn't give protection to the back four, Trent and Robertson are exposed. But Trent, Robertson and Virgil van Dijk should still perform a lot better than they did this season so far. And this massive drop-off, it can't be blamed on Jurgen Klopp. It can't be blamed on the manager. Trent Alexander-Arnold has no real rival for his position. And Virgil van Dijk, I don't know what happened to him this season, but he's a shadow of his former self, and Robertson as well. And if Liverpool did decide to sack Jurgen Klopp, their decision would be justified if you just look at this season in isolation. But you should always look at things in context. And because Jurgen Klopp has achieved an absolute miracle this last 5 years by competing against the money laundering and cheating Manchester City, it's amazing that Jurgen Klopp has challenged them. And Jurgen Klopp should have won the Premier League 3 times. If it wasn't for the cheating Manchester City side, they would have won 3 Premier League titles. And if it wasn't for Courtois having the best game of his life, Jurgen Klopp would have been 2 times Champions League winners. It's still amazing that Liverpool have won 7 trophies with Jurgen Klopp, but probably the players and Jurgen Klopp himself feels that for the amount of effort and for the amount of almost perfect seasons that Liverpool have produced, they should have won more trophies, maybe more big trophies, I mean, because 7 trophies is amazing in 7 years. That would be a success at any club. But to only win the Premier League once and the Champions League once, it feels Liverpool should win more of those trophies with the amount of amazing seasons that they had. Because Liverpool will likely hold off on sacking Jurgen Klopp, because they want to see what Liverpool 3.0 is going to properly look like. Because now this is the first proper rebuild, but the third kind of rebuild at Liverpool. Because we transitioned from Salah, Mane, Firmino to now we have Salah, Gakpo and Darwin Núñez, or Salah, Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz. Liverpool still have to work out what is their best front three when everybody is fit and firing. And now we have to talk about injuries, because Liverpool having a really short turnaround after last season and also going on this Far East Asia trip was a really bad decision that the players couldn't properly have rest, and also they had too much of a grueling pre-season with too many games. And Liverpool started the season with a lot of injuries, and that snowballed into more and more injuries and more injury problems. And Liverpool on average had around 6 injuries at any point this season, which is the most injuries that any team had in the history of the Premier League. I looked it up, and you cannot have a settled side when you have so many injuries, and that, of course, it affects the performance. But the drop-off still has been too big. Liverpool shouldn't be 30 points behind teams like Arsenal and Manchester City. And also, if you sack Jurgen Klopp, you won't be able to find a manager who is better than him or who is better suited to Liverpool than him. So that's one of the main reasons why I would keep faith with Jurgen Klopp. You don't even know what kind of team Jurgen Klopp can build if he is given the proper tools. Remember when we had the Coutinho money and Jurgen Klopp was given 140 million to spend. He spent it brilliantly on Virgil van Dijk, on Fabinho, on Alisson, and Liverpool transformed from a top 4 team to a title winning and Champions League winning team. And I'm not saying that overnight, if Jurgen Klopp is given 200 million, Liverpool will be a title winning and Champions League winning team. But with Jurgen Klopp at the helm, we have the potential to do it. We have the potential to turn this around. And maybe the gap is too big from last season to, from this season to, challenge for the title again next season. But you never know. Arsenal, nobody, absolutely nobody, even the wildest Arsenal fans didn't predict them winning the Premier League title. And they are on course to win the Premier League title unless they collapse massively in the last final stretch of the season, which could still happen. But nobody predicted Arsenal to be 8 points clear of Man City at the beginning of April. It's an absolutely amazing achievement, and it shows that with the right recruitment and with a settled, management structure, you can overachieve and you can jump from 5th place to potentially winning the title. And also the owners did a data analysis on Jurgen Klopp's last season at Dortmund, before he was appointed at Liverpool, Ian Graham conducted the study, having been appointed as Liverpool's first ever director of research just a few years earlier. He's a Cambridge physicist. He was responsible for establishing Liverpool's first data science department, in which numbers would be used in order to analyze tactics and potential targets, similar to the story of Moneyball. If you haven't seen the film, make sure to watch it because it mirrors FSG's strategy. Before exploring a role in the world of football, Ian Graham worked as a consultant for the Times, and on one particular occasion Ian Graham tackled the problem of managers and when it is the right time to fire a manager, to sack a manager. My guess is that short term, less than 10 games, blips in form result in upset fans and calls for the manager's head. The directors duly comply. Rash decisions and short-termism seems to be behind a lot of manager sacking. Graham essentially suggested that it was unclear as to whether a resulting upturn in form was down to a new manager or whether that improvement would have happened regardless of a managerial change. For the most part, upon inspection of the whole footballing landscape, it seems changing the coach does little aside from an initial short-term bounce, a new manager bounce as it's called in football. And unlike many other managers across the continent, Jurgen Klopp has a proven ability as a real star who is genuinely capable of getting more out of his players than seems realistically possible. He has overachieved at Liverpool given the tools and the resources given at his disposal. He has overachieved because to go neck and neck with Manchester City with spending like half the amount of Man City spent is nothing short of miraculous. Only Man United should have been able to keep pace with Manchester City because they are the only club who spent close to what Man City have spent, but Man United have never been able to be close to Manchester City and to challenge them in a title race since Sir Alex Ferguson left Manchester United. And that is testament to Jurgen Klopp's brilliance, and that is the reason why I think Liverpool shouldn't sack him, because no other manager could do what Jurgen Klopp did. Go to Liverpool and with the limited resources challenge Manchester City for multiple Premier League title races. So that's my verdict, and those are my reasons why Jurgen Klopp shouldn't be sacked as Liverpool manager. But let me know, what do you think in the comments below, and thanks for watching guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.